going live and live. Woo! And it's live. Good evening and welcome to Randsanity, episode 230. 230 days consecutively doing live Randsanity, talking about news in the music world, history in the music world, concert tours, updates, entertainment stuff, and births and deaths. Just talking about births and deaths. So just all that stuff that goes on when it happens to be what happens this day. All right. So I'm going to start with, and I'll jump into it. I'm going to start with the story that I said I would tell last night. Last night we talked about how Jimmy Buffett, when he was in Jamaica last night on the 30th anniversary, he was with Bono's wife and two children, and the Jamaican authorities thought that they were smugglers and shot 100 rounds of bullets at the plane, basically putting holes in the fuselage, shooting the windshield, not injuring anyone, thankfully. But it was a mistake. Oh, it was just a big mistake. So I said I would tell the story of a Jimmy Buffett adventure. So I drove a lot of people to concerts over the years as the radio guy. We took bus trips all the time to go see bands all over Ohio, Cincinnati, Cleveland, mostly, to go to Blossom Music Center, to go down to River Bend, and sometimes there was an amphitheater close by. But anyway, on this occasion, we went to go see Jimmy Buffett. And now, bus trips are infamous for drunken shenanigans, okay? Just the minute people get on the bus, they assume that, the rules don't apply to them because they're not driving. So, they're going to drink excessively, they're going to smoke excessively, and they're going to typically do things that they wouldn't normally do. This one was no different. So we started at the radio station where everybody parked and met the bus. So the bus was powered by some liquor company, because it always is, because they sponsor that, and they spend the big bucks, and probably Corona or something. I don't even know. But we went ahead and loaded up the bus, and it was a good drive. I think it was a 2-hour trip to get to the show. So we're driving to the show, and the bus again. Now this is a full bus, so it's about 50 people on it. I'm sort of the chaperone, and I probably have a guest or two with me as well. We're going to go see the concert. We're going to have a little fun. Now, when typically on the bus, I'm not going to do any kind of partying because I have to be in charge and make sure everyone gets there safely and even gets back safely. So while we're driving, we're getting really close to the venue. Probably the not the entrance to the venue, but like the off-ramp of the highway to get to where the venue is. So we're sitting there and driving, and we turn the corner, and we start going down the sort of the side street, and a cop car like screeches in front of us and like cuts the bus off. So the bus driver has to literally slam on the brakes. So it slams on the brakes, and people are like thrown around the bus. So this cop comes, leaves the door open and comes running toward the bus. Bangs on the door, like beating on the door. So the bus driver opens the door up, and this cop comes right into the bus, and he's like, "Who's in charge?" And I'm just like, and I'm sitting right there up front. I'm sitting right there at the doorway, and this cop's screaming. Now another cop car pulls up, and I'm like, okay. This is lights going too, and I'm like, okay. Now we're blocking traffic, and we're in this giant bus, and I'm like, someone's going to jail tonight. And I'm like, oh shit. So I basically step out of the bus, and this cop's in my face, and I'm like, whoa. I'm like, okay, let's just, okay, just what's going on. I'm just explain to you what's happening here. And so this other cop pulls up, and they kind of settle this guy down a little bit. Apparently, as the bus was turning, someone threw a beer bottle out of the bus and hit this cop directing traffic. I was like, okay, all right, well, let's. Okay, that's. I said, wasn't me. I'm sitting in the front. I said, I'll go back and see what's going on. So I went onto the bus and I was like, okay, so you all noticed that we have stopped and momentarily, the hopes are, and we have a little situation. I said, it seems that somebody on the back of the bus opened one of the windows and threw a beer bottle out. I said, and unfortunately that bottle hit the cop who was directing traffic. So he's a little bit upset right now, and he's really looking forward for his pound of flesh. So, does anyone want to volunteer to come in and deal with this? Because I really don't want to. Now, obviously, no one wants to stand up and say they're the idiot that threw a beer bottle out of a bus that hit the cop. So I'm like, okay, here's the thing, that we're not going anywhere until we get this figured out. Secondly, this cop's not going to be very happy if he has to go through when we have to figure out who did this. So, I mean, I hate to be this guy, but you're all sitting in the back of the bus. We know which side of the bus it came out of. It would be the driver's side because that's the side the cop was on, and it was toward the back. So some of you guys in the back may have seen something, some may have been doing it, but yeah, you're going to have to kind of like fess up because this is going to become a problem pretty fast. So we're sitting there. All of a sudden, this girl kind of goes, "It was me." And I was like, okay. And she kind of walks up front, and she's very sheepish about it. I mean, obviously. This cop is like standing outside the door like, I mean, he's just like spitting teeth. He's so mad. I'm like, okay. So literally, she gets off the bus. The cop does turns around, handcuffs her, and arrests her. Goes, "You guys can go." She's not going anywhere. So I was like, is anybody with her? Does someone else want to come off the bus and deal with this? And apparently nobody else wanted to. So they just hauled her ass off. Turns out she was a lawyer, of all things. And she was drunk and just stupidly threw a beer bottle out of the bus. We were led on our way and went to the show. And we returned from a 2-hour trip, 1 passenger less. So, note to self, don't do stupid shit like throwing beer bottles out of windows of buses. So there you go. There's one of the Jimmy Buffett horror stories, one of the horror stories of a bus trip. And I have lots of them, unfortunately. Bus trips, like I said, were infamous for shit going wrong. So, all right. Let's start off with this tonight. This is 4 exciting alternative noise and hardcore albums that are coming in 2026. Okay? First, we're going to start with the band called Sweet Pill. Okay? They're sort of an alternative emo band. They debuted in 2022 with an LP, Where the Heart Is. And they're following up their January 25 EP, Unraveled, with their second full-length album, Still. There's a Glow. It drops in March with singles No Control and Glow that are already out. The band is going on tour in support of their new album, as well as kicking off their largest headlining tour on March 13th in Pittsburgh. Dates run through March and April, concluding on April 17th here in Columbus. So I will be going and checking them out. Support bands include Heart to Gold, Spaced, and Stericity. So they'll be here April 17th in Columbus, Ohio. So I'll be checking that band out. Next is the band Peaches. Okay, so this is sort of an avant-punk performance artist, Peaches. Back with a new album after about 10 years, releasing No Lube, So Rude on February 20th. She's also embarking on a 26 tour in support, planning a run of the UK EU shows in addition to North American leg. For the past decade, Peaches has been doing sculpture, theater, dance performance, but after that, she admitted that she was ready to get back to work making music. 2 singles have already dropped, titled Not in Your Mouth, None of Your Business, and Fuck Your Face. So, yeah, Peaches is an interesting one. I went and listened, and I'm like, whoa, okay. Definitely not for the faint of heart, let's put it that way. Next, we've got this band, Puke Wolf. They're a Danish hardcore sort of genre-defying band. They released their first physical EP, Everything Comes From Nothing, in 2019. Now they're ready to release their project Descend on February the 6th. 2 tracks from the newest album are already out, Blood and Hyena Laugh. The band describes the new endeavor as being about inheritance, weight, and slow recognition. Sounds like a bunch of BS, but anyway. Confronting what's passed down, what breaks, and what can be remade in the aftermath. The band wrote Descend promises to be ambitious and innovative with more than just typical hardcore instrumentals. The credits on the album note violin, noise, and field recordings with contributions from an array of their peers. I did not get a chance to listen to any of that band, Puke Wolf, just because I was like, we'll see. This one, though, I'm definitely psyched about. Silver Sun Pickups announces their latest album, Tenterhooks, on November 26th, along with their first single, The Wreckage. An additional single, New Wave, dropped in December, and the album comes out on February 6th, and is their first LP since Physical Thrills in 2022. In early 25, the band had to abruptly pause recording their album when guitarist and vocalist Brian Aubrett suffered an eardrum injury. As a result, the vibe of the project felt like it was left on tenterhooks, waiting for what comes next. According to a press release per Stereogum, it's an impatient, apprehensive, and more aggressive album than previous work. So I'm definitely looking forward to the Silver Sun Pickups release. Met those guys a bunch of times. We've had them in the studio a few times. It's good stuff. Isaac Floyd, what's going on, brother? How we doing tonight? Doing good? I was just talking about the Silver Sun Pickups and a couple other bands that are releasing albums this year that should be interesting. So, don't forget, while you're here, Isaac Floyd and others, let's make sure that we like, that we subscribe, that we follow, that we share, and we watch the videos. Typical lawyer. Yeah, I know. Stupid lawyers. What are you going to do, right? All right, so let's talk about history. What happened on this day? The usual stuff, there was births, there was deaths, there was arrests, there was, things of that nature. And all the bands that do it always are doing the fun stuff. In 1963, the Beatles played the Cavern Club, which celebrated its anniversary yesterday at lunchtime. In the evening, played at the Majestic Ballroom in Birkenhead. At the Majestic, every ticket had been sold in advance, leaving 500 disappointed fans waiting outside. Now, see, I guess they didn't have scalping back in 1963, huh? That wouldn't happen now because 500 disappointed fans would be 500 paying extra money fans. Just saying. The Rolling Stones released their first EP, which included You Better Move On, Poison Ivy, Bye Bye Johnny, and Money. It peaked at number 15 on the UK chart. That was in 1964. Nice! Good job. Radio Station 1 Best in the City. Very good. Very good. Congratulations. That's awesome. Now, is that like, who gave the award? I want to know. Where was the award from? That's what I want to know, man. Where did that award come from? In 1966, NBC TV in the U.S. bought the Monkees series, placing it on their 1966 autumn schedule. The series centered on the adventures of the band The Monkees, a struggling rock band from Los Angeles, California, and introduced a number of innovative new wave film techniques to television. Hey, we're the Monkees. In 1967, the Daily Mail ran the story about a local council finding 4,000 holes in the road in Lancashire, inspiring John Lennon's contribution to the Beatles song A Day in the Life. Under the headline in the local paper, "The holes are roads," the brief statement, "There are 4,000 holes in the road in Blackburn, Lancashire, or 26th of a hole per person, according to a council survey. If Blackburn is typical, there are 2 million holes in Britain's roads and 300,000 in London alone. Lennon took these words and tried to fit them into the song. He had problems with the words on the final verse. However, not being able to think of how to connect "now they know how many holes it takes to" and the Albert Hall, his friend Terry Doran suggested that the holes would fill the Albert Hall, and the lyric was eventually used. So there's an actual precedent to that song. Now this one, I'm just like, what? Come on. This is just ridiculously sad if you think about it. In 1967, the Jimi Hendrix Experience recorded a session for the Radio Luxembourg's Ready Steady Radio. The band ran up a bar bill of $6.21, which they were unable to pay. Oh, think about that. A $6 bar bill, and you can't pay it as a rock band. I mean, obviously this is the beginning of the Hendrix Experience, but I mean, it just makes me sad. That's all. That just makes me sad. All right. Let's see. Speaking of not getting paid enough, that you can do it. In 1967, David Mason recorded the piccolo trumpet solo for the Beatles' Penny Lane at Abbey Road Studios in London. He was paid $42 for his performance. $42 to be on the Beatles album. Oh, that's just ridiculous. $42. Come on, man. In 1987, the trumpet he used was sold at Sotheby's auction for $10,000. So $10,000 to sell the trumpet he used when he only got paid $42. That's the problem with musicians. You don't make a lot of money. In 1970, Billy Stewart, blues singer and pianist, and 3 of his bandmates were killed when their Ford Thunderbird that Stewart was driving crashed in in Smithfield, North Carolina. Stewart had the 1966 U.S. hit with the version of George Gershwin's song "Summertime." Yeah, let's have fun till your daddy takes his T-Bird and drives it into a river. That's no good. In 1970, The Doors played the first of 4 shows at the Felt Forum in New York City. The shows were recorded for the band's forthcoming Absolutely Live album. The Doors' producer at the time, Paul Rothchild, claims to have painstakingly edited the album from many different shows to create one cohesive concert. According to Rothschild, the best part of a song from one performance may have been spliced together with another of part of the same song from another performance in an attempt to create the ultimate concert. He stated that there must be 2,000 edits on the album. 2,000 edits. That's nuts. How he can put them to that many cohesively to make it actually sound good, though, you got to give that man props. If he was besides it says as the producer, he was the editor of that editor hopefully got paid some money because, man, that would suck. That's a lot of work. Just saying. In 1972, a section of Bellevue Boulevard in Memphis, Tennessee was renamed Elvis Presley Boulevard. The remaining length of road kept its original name after protests from Bellevue Baptist Church. All right, well, it happens, right? In 1976, Barry Manilow scored his second U.S. #1 single with I Write the Songs, which was written by the Beach Boys. The original version was recorded by Captain and Tennille, who worked with Johnson in the early 1970s with the Beach Boys. The first release of the song as a single was by teen idol David Cassidy from his solo 1975 album, The Higher They Climb, which was also produced by Johnston. Manilow's version won a Grammy Award for Song of the Year and was nominated for Record of the Year in 1977. So just copy somebody else's music and make it your own. You'll be fine. Nobody will notice the difference. 1978, Don't You Forget About Me. Scottish rock band Simple Minds made their live debut at the Satellite Club in Glasgow. The band went on to achieve 5 UK album chart number ones and have sold more than 60 million albums worldwide. Don't you forget about me as you walk on by. On this day, 1981, the 17th of January, Motley Crue formed when bassist Nikki Sixx left the band London and began rehearsing with drummer Tommy Lee and vocalist guitarist Greg Leon, who later left. Sixx and Lee then added guitarist Bob "Mick" Mars Deal. Vince Neil accepted an offer to join after turning them down in April of that year. Motley Crue started on this day. We probably could have done without that. I'm just saying. Note to self, American blues singer, songwriter, and pianist Tommy Tucker died at the age of 48 after being overcome by poisonous fumes while he was renovating the floors of his New York City home. Okay. Keep that in mind while next time I'm renovating a floor. Tucker wrote the 1964 number one U.S. hit High Heel Sneakers. Tucker left the music industry in the late 60s, taking a position as a real estate agent in New Jersey. Just saying, don't fix floors if you don't know what you're doing, I guess. Shit. 1987, Kate Bush started a 2-week run at number one on the UK album chart with The Whole Story. The compilation album was Bush's third UK number one album, as well as her best-selling release. It still doesn't do anything for me. She's got such a crazy voice. If you listen to all her songs, it's just always kind of exciting. In 1996, David Bowie, Tom Donahue, the Jefferson Airplane, Gladys Knight and the Pips, Little Willie John, that's what his name is, Pink Floyd, Pete Seeger, the Shirelles, the Velvet Underground were all inducted into the 11th Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Cleveland, Ohio, Cleveland rocks. Been there many times. Broadcasted live from the Rock Hall. I even signed my name on the wall where all the rock stars get to sign their names because we are backstage at the Rock Hall. Yes, indeed. Lou Rawls, come on, man. Singer Lou Rawls was arrested at Albuquerque Airport in New Mexico after an incident with his companion, Nina Inman. Officers reported that she and Rawls had been talking about their relationship when the conversation escalated into a shoving match, resulting in Rawls being booked on one count of battery on a household member. Come on, Lou Rawls, what up with that? Well, you know, you can't be shoving people in airports, especially like spouses and significant others. Bad Lou Rawls. Bad Lou Rawls. Just saying. In 2003, a long-lost recording featuring John Lennon and Mick Jagger was set to spark a bidding war at a London auction. The acetate record was recorded in 1974 with Jagger singing the blues song Too Many Cooks and Lennon playing guitar. The track had never been released because the two artists were both signed to two different record companies. Interesting. I never even heard of that before. In 2011, Don Kirshner, American music publisher, talent manager, and songwriter who helped launch the careers of Neil Diamond, Bobby Darin, Carole King, Neil Sedaka, the Monkees, the Archies, and Kansas died of heart failure at the age of 76. I used to listen to Don Kirshner Presents growing up in New York. He was the guy that did all the concerts. Kirshner was hired by the producers of the Monkees to provide hit-worthy songs to accompany the television program, and also served as a music consultant for almost 24 TV shows between 1966 and 1977. Good old Don Kirshner Presents. Now this one, I will not read the last part of this because I was like, dang. In 2014, Madonna apologized for using a racial slur to refer to her son on an Instagram post after she uploaded a snapshot of her 13-year-old Rocco Ritchie boxing with the offensive epithet used in a hashtag accompanying the photo. The comment was swiftly deleted from her Instagram account after some of her 1.1 million followers berated her for using the hashtag. I'm not going to say it. Nope, just not doing it. There's no way it's not worth doing. Not even for the whole, hype thing. That's not going to do it. You want to go look it up? Feel free. You can do that. I'm not going to say the hashtag. Just no. In 2016, English drummer Dale Griffith, not related to Peter Griffith by any sense of the word, from Family Guy, died at the age of 67. He was the founding member of the band Mott the Hoople, best known for classic tracks like Roll Away, The Stone, and All the Young Dudes. The band, who made 8 albums during their 5.5-year existence, reformed to mark their 40th anniversary in 2009, but Griffith was too ill to take part. Griffin also produced numerous BBC Radio 1 John Peel sessions from 1981 to 1994, including the first professional recording session for Pulp in 1981. Yeah, not related to Peter Griffin. But I do see Griffin West showed up right when I was talking about that. So it's actually really funny. Griffin West, who's gone already. But hey, someone's got to do it, right? 2023, American rock musician Van Conner died from pneumonia at the age of 55. He was best known as the bassist from Screaming Trees and also joined a live lineup of Dinosaur Jr. Yes, Van Conner, Screaming Trees. That was a great band. Fortunately, we lost him then. Don't forget, like, subscribe, follow, share, and watch. Watch the TikTok videos, damn it. Some of those things only have like 300 views. I'm sure they suck, but, my editing skills aren't that great. What can I tell you? All right, let's see. Where are we at here? So we did that part. Let's talk about a tour I saw. I just saw a tour got announced. I'm like, oh, really? All right. Ready for this one? I might have to go find this one because Rob Zombie and Marilyn Manson announced Freaks on Parade tour. Shock rock pioneer Rob Zombie and Marilyn Manson will be teaming up again in 2026 for a massive co-headlining tour across North America. The Freaks on Parade tour takes place in August and September, making noteworthy stops in Tampa, Charlotte, Toronto, Clarkston, Tinley Park, Maryland Heights, Kansas City, and Concord. Joining in the tour in support will be special guests The Who and Orgy. Back in 2019, the same two acts launched there after wrapping up their Twins of Evil, the Second Coming tour prior to the year. Zombie will be releasing his 8th studio album, The Great Satan, on February 27th, 26 via Nuclear Blast. The new album followed up his 2021 The Lunar Injection Kool-Aid Eclipse Conspiracy, which reached #1 on the Billboard's rock chart. Back in 2023, the veteran vocalist launched another version of his Freaks on Parade tour alongside Alice Cooper, which continued into 2024 and was joined by Ministry and Filter. I did see that, and it was awesome, just so you know. The prior year, the same tour was joined by Mudvayne, Static X, and Power Man 5000. So it looks like it's going to start in Sturgis on August the 12th, West Palm Beach, Florida State, Georgia, Charlotte, Holmdel, New Jersey on August 26th. That's the PNC Arts Center. I know that very well. Mansfield, Massachusetts, PA, New York, Toronto, Blossom Music Center, Cuyahoga Falls, happening on September the 2nd. Michigan, Illinois, Indiana, Missouri, Colorado, Salt Lake City, Washington State, and Concord, California, ending in September 20th. So if you want to catch Rob Zombie and Marilyn Manson, looks like they're going to be playing across the country, so you should be able to pick them up somewhere. Marilyn Manson, not the hugest fan, but Rob Zombie always puts on a great show. Just so you know. Saw him when he was here at Sonic Temple last time and did see that Ministry tour, and it was amazing. Amazing. All right, let's see what we got next coming up. Let's talk about some births and deaths. Not a lot of deaths today, but lots of births. We'll start with Susan Hoff of the Bangles. Walk Like an Egyptian. She's 67 today. I listened to that a little earlier. Walk like an Egyptian. Amy Rourke of the Smiths. He died in 23. Andy would have been 58 today. Tiesto is 57. Holy crap. You know that's... Tiesto's 57? How is that possible? That's nuts. And you have to share a birthday with Kid Rock, 55 years old today. Charles Richard Ricky Wilson of the Kaiser Chiefs, 48 today. We've met Ricky before. He's a super nice guy. Zoe Deschanel, 46 today. Betty White, who died in 21, would have been 104 today. Happy birthday, Betty White in heaven. Because she definitely didn't go to hell. Not Betty White. Maybe. James Earl Jones, Darth Vader voice. That voice of Darth Vader. 95 today. He died 2 years ago, though. Maury Povich, 87. Wow, I didn't know Maury Povich was still alive. Sorry. Andy Kaufman from Taxi. Also, David Letterman fame and everything else. Andy Kaufman would have been 87 or 77 today. He died all the way back in 84. And Steve Harvey of Family Feud, 69 years old. I think I liked Richard better. He was a better host. I'm not a big Steve Harvey fan. Jim Carrey, 64 years old today. Again, has to share a birthday with Kid Rock. And Jendi Tartovsky. Oh, Jendi. Happy birthday. Samurai Jack. Hotel Transylvania. Dexter's Lab. Shit. Forgot even to see how old he was. What can I say? I was more excited that I saw his name because I was like, Jendi, I love Jendi. Such a good stuff. He always does good stuff. I mean, come on, who doesn't love Dexter's Lab? He also worked on the Powerpuff Girls, which, you know, that's a crazy-ass TV show if you ever saw Powerpuff Girls. If you didn't, well, you know. Cartoons. I'm a big cartoon guy. Let's see, who died today? Richard Crenna. Richard Crenna, he was a actor in a bunch of stuff. He was always sort of one of these B-movie guys, so you'd always see him in a lot of stuff. Alvin Nelvin? Sam the Butcher on the Brady Bunch. He died in 2008 at the age of 84. Simon Shelton Barnes died at 52. He was Tinky Winky. He was Tinky Winky, the Teletubby Tinky Winky. He died of exposure of all things. Like, what the hell, man? Take your costume off and he froze to death? I don't know. This sounds a little strange to me. Sorry. How do you die of exposure? Just saying. I don't know. I mean, I'm not laughing at him dying. It's unfortunate. I get that. I'm just sort of, again, it's tinky winky. What are you going to do, right? Oh, shit. All right, let me see. I did see something that I thought was kind of funny. When I was like, I could read it, but I was like, But I think I'm just gonna skip it altogether. What did read today? I was reading something that you can't yell at Uber drivers and tell them you're gonna kill them. Okay, just so you know. All right, threatening to kill an Uber driver doesn't work, and especially if you're famous. It appears that Kiefer Sutherland repeatedly told the Uber driver to let him out. Pull over now, let him out, whatever. When he didn't, I guess Sutherland threatened to kill the Uber driver. Pull over now, I'm going to kill you. He got arrested and was released on $50,000 bond. He has to go to court in February over this. I mean, he made a death threat against this Uber driver. And I was talking to someone earlier. I'm like, you can't really do that, first of all. And secondly, any Uber I've ever been into, they have cameras. Everyone records everything for their own safety. So I'm a fear that Kiefer Sutherland's going to find that there's a recording of him threatening to kill this Uber driver. And he may find himself getting into some trouble, having to pay some money or something for this. But yeah, just note to self. Threatening people to, kill them doesn't usually work out well for you. I'm just saying. Oh man, I just, the idiocy. I'm sorry. I just find that human nature, we are such dumb creatures at times. We really are. Not that I haven't done dumb shit myself. I've not done anything of that nature. I usually just do stupid shit. Hold my beer. That kind of stupid shit. My tombstone's going to say, he knew better, but he did it anyway. That's what it'll say. No regrets, no would've, could've, should've's. I'm not going to have that on my tombstone, but definitely not, I don't think threatening an Uber driver is going to help anyone's cause. Just saying, that sounds like a bad deal right there. Oh, shit. All right. Saturday night, anyone doing anything exciting? Me personally, I'm going to go sit on the couch and go watch cartoons because that's what I do late at night. I watch cartoons when I'm doing this. And then I'm going to go read some stuff about music, and I'm going to call some friends in LA tomorrow and see what's going on so I can find out what's happening in the industry this week. See what tours we got coming up and whatever else is happening. All right? Besides that, I think I'm going to, I looked at a couple of festivals to try and get tickets for and go to this year. So I'm definitely, as I always suggest to everybody, save your money, go to festivals. That's the way to go see shows because you can go spend $500 on a single ticket and go see 20 bands as opposed to spending $100 plus parking and everything else for a single band. Just saying. Anyway, all right. That would be about it. I don't think I have anything else. Any questions, comments, concerns? Feel free. I'll stand here and wait a second. Callum Riley, who's just sitting there, who just jumped right on. Yannick Gunder. I like that. Yannick. I know my friend is Yanish. I don't know how to pronounce Orgada Pinkada. Yeah, I can't do that one. Sorry. Midwestern Rainbow. But yeah, questions, comments, concerns before I depart. Anybody? What's going on here? Yes, yeah, for sure. Yep, that is a beer price. That's crazy. Ren and Stimpy? Yes, Ren and Stimpy. Hells yes. All right. that's about it then. I think I'm going to. Like I said, go watch a little bit of cartoons, and then maybe do a little reading and see what else I can go find about our friend Kiefer Sutherland and why he yelled at the Uber driver that he's going to kill him. Not good, Kiefer. We're not happy about that. So that's not a great thing. And then see what other bands are going to come and what tours and what tickets I can find because I want to go see more shows. It seems like it's going to be a good concert year. As some of the shows have already made some good announcements. Like I said, I definitely want to go see Pitbull again because, I didn't think I would be a fan, but I did enjoy seeing him. Definitely Rob Zombie again. And like I said, there's a couple of big festivals that I'm already seeing that are being announced that really have some great solid lineups. So it's going to turn out to be, I think, a good concert year. 25 was definitely a good concert year, and I think we're going to see some good concerts for this year as well. All right, so with that, I'm going to bid you a fond farewell. Jump over here and say thank you so much. Appreciate you. Hope you enjoyed. Hope you learned something exciting and new, musically, historically, and phonically. If not, well, that's your own damn fault. I can only do my job of telling you what's happening. If you can't absorb it, well, you're watching too many TikTok shorts. All right. On that note, I am going to bid you a fond farewell and look to see you tomorrow when we do this again. Tomorrow being Sunday. So, Sunday night means, you stay up late because who wants to go to work on Monday? Not me, so I won't. Have a great rest of the evening, and I will look forward to seeing you soon. Remember, like, share, follow, subscribe, watch. That's it. I'm sorry. Yes, brain farts. It happens. Too many bubbles in my brain. All right. Fade to black. Ren and Stimpy.